So I stumbled across this video on Japanese counting while I was on the internet, so I just kind of wanted to talk about it. Basically, it's a, woe is me kind of video about counting. And I will say, look, I'm relentlessly positive about the Japanese language as much as possible. I love their conjugation. I love kanji. I think it's all great. I will say that if there's one feature I would just, get rid of, it would be counting. Sure, so I agree. I get the vibe. I can sympathize with the intent. But I have seen a lot of videos that do what this video is kind of doing, and I don't think they're good for learners. So let me kind of show you why. Starts out by, noting that one pen is ippon, right?
So how do you say one pen?
Ippon.
Ippon.
And then it says, 2 would then be nippon.
So 2 would be nippon.
And then they say no, of course.
Nihon.
Nihon.
And then, okay, well it's hon, so san should be sanhon. And then no, it's sanpon.
So 3 is sanpon.
Sanbon.
And alright, yeah, fine, memorizing things is a pain. But then it goes on to say, why is it B?
Why do you say B?
And the thing is, there's answers to that. This isn't like wacky, crazy Japanese, there's a logic behind it. In Japanese, when you combine two sounds together, which we're doing here because we have a number and a counter, if the first of those ends in ku, chi, or tsu, as in ichi, roku, or this isn't a number, but like satsu, right? Sakin, it can become the pause, right? The small tsu. Therefore, the idea that ni could become nippon doesn't make any sense because there is nothing after ni to cut. It's not adding a sound. There's no e sound that means one. You can just add a tsu to.
Ihon.
Ippon.
Ippon.
Japanese doesn't just like add a tsu like that, but it does delete, or replace I guess, ku and tsu quite consistently, so you have to look out for that, especially with numbers. It doesn't though reduce like doesn't just get dropped, so we're not going to have sappon for 3. Well, why sanbon then? Well, actually, why any of this?
Why do you say B? Like everything changes.
And the answer is because it's easier to say. And that's where my frustration is. As a learner, don't get frustrated by this. Don't buy into the joke. Don't buy into the premise here because there is a reason for it. And it's just simply that it's easier to say. Try it right now. Try saying, like, let's take the counter for pens. I need a pen. Let's take the counter for pens and not change anything. Ichihon. Nihon. Sanhon. It's not possible, but compare it to ippon, nihon, sanbon. Just try saying it. The latter ones are easier to say. If you say ichihon, you have to go 2 breaths, right? Sanhon, same thing. But ippon, 1 breath. Sanbon, you can just get it out all in 1 breath. People like, languages like, things being easy to say. And these changes, while they're, of course, frustrating when you see them on a table, we love a nice, consistent table, they weren't invented on a table. They were invented to say in the easiest way for people that don't sit down and memorize them. But here's my real problem. This part, where they start comparing the video to English and say that, look how simple and easy English is.
What? Okay, English is 1 pen, 2 pens, 3 pens, 4 pens. That's it. Just the S changes and the number. Super confusing. Yabai.
No, yabakunai. Every single naturally created language that I'm familiar with is a basic gigantic mess. But out of these, English is a mess of all messes. You want consistency?
Everything changes.
You want things that make sense and aren't super confusing? Don't look to English. Because let's talk about S. Let's talk about the English plural. Let's focus on that s thing at the end there. We're saying how easy things are to count. Right? Well, no. Because if it's a cat, sure, 2 cats. But what if it's a dog? Well, now it's dogs. A Z sound. Why not dogs? Well, again, because it's easier to say. Dogs and cats is hard to say. It's hard to say it for this video. But we just use 1 letter for it. That's super confusing. And that's even when we're talking about consistent use of a plural in English. The plural of deer is deer. The plural of tooth is teeth, yet we use toothpaste instead of teeth paste, despite the fact that I've never put toothpaste on a single tooth in my entire life. Pants, these things are plural, so I buy 1 pair, I guess. And yeah, there's a reason for it, but the reason doesn't make it any less confusing for learners. Let's not even get into like our past tense system. We don't have a candle to that to Japanese. The past tense and the passive tense of the verb hit in English are hit. I will hit the same ball that I hit yesterday, which is regularly hit by people around the world. It's all the same. It doesn't even conjugate. It's crazy. And you're going to find this no matter what language you memorize, no matter what language you study. Every language is going to have a bunch of nonsense in it that wasn't designed by anyone, and we just have to deal with because that's how it is. And the trick is to find a language where that nonsense is, for you, fun and exciting. And stuff that makes you go, oh, that Japanese is so wacky, that language is so hard, it's so weird, it doesn't make any sense, it's a nonsense language. That is like empty calories for your motivation, for your studying of Japanese. There usually is a reason for anything weird. The reason might not be one that you find justifiable, like knowing deer's etymology is why we say deer instead of deers doesn't help you memorize it at all. But there usually is some kind of reason, and it often goes to the fact that it is just easier to say. If Japanese didn't have these quirks of, counting, you might run out of breath just counting things. And I would love to see videos like this that start out with these kind of frustration things, giving you solutions to it. Like there are tricks out there to help you memorize it. A silly mnemonic you can use, for instance, for things like hon or hiki or other ones that start in H is Peter has blonde hair. Happy, happy, happy. And that tells you the first sound. Ippon, ippiki, right? Nihon, nihiki, sanbon, sanbiki, yon go hon. Now this mnemonic is not one that you should rely on. Like you do need to memorize it. You can't just say that to yourself every time you have to count. But there are tricks out there. And I am sorry to rag on like one specific video. I wouldn't be making this video if I hadn't seen this exact same thing done in relation to something about Japanese 5 million times before. It's just a silly video. It's just a joke. But this question here, there's answers to it. I can guarantee you, if you adopt the mental approach of, oh, that's interesting, I wonder why that is, instead of super, super confusing, why is that happening? My language is better. You will succeed better than the people that have the other mindset. And that will change you from a gaikokujin who zetsubos about Nihongo to a gaikokujin who lets goes about Nihongo. That was a terrible way to end this video. Why did I do that?